The word marriage has become a loaded political term. There's a problem on the one hand because policymakers want to keep the notion of the family intact, yet at the same time fewer couples are getting married, or they're getting married at older ages, if that's the right word. Cohabitation rates are increasing and divorce rates are still fairly high. And this is across the 3 countries that I'm looking at in my book. I show how marriage has become a dividing line, not just in terms of class, in terms of economic inequality, but in terms of race, ethnicity, religion. All those factors are part of this story and make the research important, or at least I think so. Government intervention in people's relationship has been justified on economic grounds. The health of a family, of a relationship, does have ramifications for the governments. It has implications for budgets, particularly when relationships break down and welfare costs or social service payments increase the burden on these governments. So marriage is a very powerful and symbolic political institution, and it might seem that government intervention is sensible to try and keep this institution healthy and keep it growing and sustaining it. But don't forget, we live in this idea of a neoliberal society where the right to interfere in people's personal relationships is not something that is welcomed in many areas. So for those who say that marriage is a private matter, that means that it only concerns the 2 people in it, and it's about their self-fulfillment or their family or whatever. So again, you have the governments trying to manage all these various elements, not to mention, as I said, class and race and the different perspectives from a religious point of view, etc. If we take the idea of same-sex marriage, in the UK, it was passed through the Parliament, making same-sex legal in 2013. And David Cameron, who was the Prime Minister at the time, copped a bit of opposition from his Conservative Party, but still managed to get it through Parliament. And he celebrated marriage as this fantastic institution that was about equality. And as a Conservative, he celebrated it, and everybody should have access to it. That was his line. In the US, there was raging battles for many years, but finally the Supreme Court ruled that all states should legalise same-sex marriage in 2015. And yet you contrast those 2 countries with what's going on in Australia, and here we can't even get a vote in Parliament. We know that the Prime Minister's own values are that he supports same-sex marriage, but because of the politics at play, we still don't have same-sex marriage in this country, which is really quite, I would say, embarrassing and very old-fashioned. So that's why this research is important, because it's looking at all these various elements. You would think it's fairly straightforward, but you start to unpack it in the 3 countries and it plays out very, very differently. And to me, I think that that's quite interesting.